Question. DS. Is x greater than 4? Condition 1. X over 2 is greater than 2. Condition 2. 2 over x is smaller than 1 over 2. Solution. Let us solve this DS question using the variable approach. Square is important. Ignore the squares and even exponents. Square factors and even exponents factors are always positive, so multiplying or dividing a term by a non-zero square factor or a non-zero even exponent factor does not affect the direction of the inequality sign. We should ignore the square factor or even exponent factor, whether it is in the denominator or the numerator. Let us follow the first step of the variable approach by modifying and rechecking the original condition and the question. We are to verify whether the range x is greater than 4 is true. Follow the second and the third steps. From the original condition, we have one variable x. To match the number of variables with the number of equations, we need one equation. Since conditions 1 and 2 will provide one equation each, D would most likely be the answer. Recall 3 principles and choose D as the most likely answer. Let us take a look at each condition. Condition 1 tells us that x over 2 is greater than 2. If we multiply both sides of this inequality by 2, we get x is greater than 4. The range x is greater than 4 that we are trying to find includes the range x is greater than 4 given in condition 1. Thus, the condition is sufficient. Condition 2 tells us that 2 over x is smaller than 1 over 2. If we multiply both sides of this inequality by 2 times x squared, we get 2 times x squared times 2 over x is smaller than 2 times x squared times 1 over 2, or 4 times x is smaller than x squared. You need a square to solve this question. Square is important in inequality questions. If we rearrange 4 times x is smaller than x squared, we get 0 is smaller than x squared minus 4 times x, or x squared minus 4 times x is greater than 0, or x times whole of x minus 4 is greater than 0. X times whole of x minus 4 is greater than 0 means that the factors x and x minus 4 have the same sign. Thus, x is greater than 0 and x minus 4 is greater than 0, or x is smaller than 0 and x minus 4 is smaller than 0. That is, x is greater than 0 when x is greater than 4, or x is smaller than 0 when x is smaller than 4. X is greater than 0 when x is greater than 4 means that x is greater than 4, and x is smaller than 0 when x is smaller than 4 means that x is smaller than 0. Thus, condition 2 gives x is smaller than 0 or x is greater than 4. The range x is greater than 4 that we are trying to find does not include the range x is smaller than 0 or x is greater than 4 given in condition 2. If x is smaller than 0, then we get no as an answer to whether x is greater than 4. But if x is greater than 4, then we get yes as an answer to whether x is greater than 4. So, we have a no and a yes as answers to the question, is x greater than 4? Thus, the condition is not sufficient by CMT1, which states that if you get both yes and no as the answer, it is not sufficient. Let us look at the graph on the number line, as shown below. Question: is x greater than 4? Condition 1. X is greater than 4. This is sufficient. Condition 2. X is smaller than 0, or x is greater than 4. This is not sufficient. Condition 1 alone is sufficient. A is the correct answer. Answer A.